Really, why are Gen X women the warrior generation? Why are we walking away from our jobs? Some people are actually calling it a midlife crisis. I think that's rubbish. I think the reasons are bigger and angrier than anyone else is admitting. Listen, I'm a journalist as well. These figures are wild. Nearly half of Gen X women in the US are not in a paid job. 2 million women in Britain between the ages of 50 and 64 have vanished from the workforce. So here are the real reasons why I think Gen X women are saying, we're done. We're going to start with 4 of them. And number 1 is one that really builds so slowly you don't even see it coming. And I call them the cracks. And the weird thing about the cracks are that they don't all appear at once. Like, you know, when you smash a mirror and everything goes everywhere. These cracks slowly creep in. There's one here, there's one there, and then suddenly they're everywhere. You know, like playing whack-a-mole. Except every time you whack one, like another problem pops up, right? And then 2, and then 3, and then you miss a deadline, then you forget a meeting. Then you lose your keys again, and you start to get really defensive and antsy about a perfectly innocuous day-to-day comment from your colleague. And then one day you're thinking, who the hell am I? That was me. And if you're a Gen X woman, I'm going to bet you've had your own version of moments like this too. Truth is, we were raised to keep going, weren't we? We were be reliable, don't complain, get on with it, right? The job needs you, your family needs you, and you just keep smiling through the day, don't you? Keep nodding, you keep going, yes, I'll do that, no problem. Oh, that extra work, yeah, oh, training that extra member of staff, that new member of staff. And then you get home and you collapse. And if you're anything like me, you've written your resignation letter more times than you can count. But the truth is you never actually press send because somehow that thought of leaving is actually scarier than staying, isn't it? You know it. And listen, Gen X women, we are not weak. We're the warrior generation. We're also called the sandwich generation, aren't we? Because we're squeezed between like aging parents and children who still need us. And here's a quick example of a day that it all caught up with me. So I'm juggling the usual things. Work, I've got a few health niggles I'm ignoring. Why do we do that? Caring for my elderly mom as well on top of that. And then I mixed up like a really important NHS appointment for her. Got my mom there. It was the wrong day. And the look of disappointment on her face, even though I'm laughing, it broke me, right? And that's the thing about cracks, actually, cracks, because you can't see them on the inside, especially when you're like holding everything up, but everyone else starts to notice. And it's definitely not a weakness in you. I think it's actually like a bit of structural damage, structural, I can't say it. And when you start asking, what's wrong with me? That's the wrong question. I think we've got to say, what have I been carrying that no one else can see? Now, the second reason I think Gen X women are walking away from their jobs in their droves is something that I actually still feel the sting of as well. Like, whenever I meet up with my girlfriends, you know, the coffee, the cake, it might be the Prosecco, all right. I'm always hearing the same story. Like, I gave them 20 years. I worked their 30 years in the same sector. But when I needed them, they couldn't care less. Like, my employers couldn't care less. And maybe you've got a story like that as well. I mean, mine came after 6 years of ploughing my heart and soul into a job, which foolishly, when I look back now, I'd set my heart on that job being my retirement plan, right? And yeah, it was a mistake. Benefit of hindsight, right? So I worked my backside off. Students, parents, reports, marking, prepping lessons into the evenings, the weekends, a lot, you know the drill. And the very moment I needed support around my mental and my physical health, they told me exactly where I was ranking, and I was ranking, you guessed it, at the bottom of the pile. That was a very hard pill to swallow. And I learned very sharply in that moment that I stopped being useful when I couldn't give them what they want, and I became a bit of a problem. I was a cog in a wheel, and that clarity was very important to me. And I'm not saying that all employers are bad, right? But what I'm saying is when an employer calls itself a family, just remember, families don't make you feel guilty when you want leave. Families don't send you emails at 9 o'clock at night and expect an answer before you've had breakfast. So remember that work is a transaction. So something I wish I'd started years earlier was quiet quitting. And I know we've been reading all about it. I'm not talking about doing a bad job. It's like working to rule, isn't it? It is doing the job to the point. So you leave on time. You don't answer messages after work. And you know what? Everything keeps turning. The world keeps turning. There's no big deal. Ask yourself one question this week. Where have I been giving 200%? Is it to people who would replace me with like the younger model, the cheaper model, before even your sorry you're leaving card goes around the office, and then decide what to do with that answer? Because loyalty is a two-way street. And if you're the only one walking that path, right, it isn't loyalty. It's unpaid overtime, baby. Which brings me to the third reason I have a feeling why Gen X women are walking away from their jobs. And to my mind, this, I think, is the one that really changes you. So when I was 51, it really hit me because I was exhausted all the time. I started being teary for no reason, anxious in a lot of ways I couldn't explain. My confidence, I'm the girl with confidence. It dipped, it plummeted. It was like someone had taken it away overnight. And looking back now, didn't realise it, but it was the signs of perimenopause. And at the time, nobody joined the dots. Not even my colleagues at work, not my GP. I went to see my GP and they told me I was probably depressed. The doctor offered me antidepressants, and the assumption wasn't like, what's happening to your body? It was like, something's wrong with her. Maybe she can't cope with aging, getting into her 50s. But in my heart, I felt I was being misread, but I didn't know what that was. And I wasn't alone. Again, I'm a journalist, I'm sorry, but research from UCL in London found that more than half of menopausal and perimenopausal women have either been misdiagnosed or they've had their symptoms dismissed entirely in healthcare settings. More than half. So when I talk about the rage, I'm not talking about the anger for no reason. I'm talking about all of these years where we're not properly seen, because that kind of thing catches up on you, and then you just keep getting ingrained with there's something wrong with me, when actually, you think it's your fault. It's really your fault. We've got to look at the context of things, right? And for many Gen X women, particularly women of colour over 40, the dismissal's even more layered. So if you insist on something because you feel it's right, you feel it in your own body, we are labelled as uppity or aggressive. Interestingly, what makes me just as annoyed is watching some of my friends and colleagues. They are brilliant, they are highly experienced, they're in their 50s and they're being edged out of the workplace like their symptoms are inconvenient, like the employer can't be bothered to kind of work out different solutions for them to work in. And so these midlife women are quitting because the system doesn't know what to do with you. And that really gets on my goat. And the moment I realised that I wasn't the problem educator, right, things started to fall into place. And even though, I was feeling a lot of pain, it shifted to something more powerful. And I would say that, when you have information, it's like ammunition. So start documenting things that are going on, the symptoms you're having. When you're dismissed, maybe by a doctor going, oh, it's probably nothing. Or whenever your boss or your colleague makes you feel that big, right, teeny tiny small, well, you're going to have to sort yourself out, aren't you? When you do that, the rage, I think, stops feeling like something that's happening to you and starts feeling like something you can use. Use that energy, baby. It's time to stop apologising for what you're experiencing. The rage isn't the problem. I think the bigger problem actually is ignoring the rage. So harness it, use the energy. And the last reason I think Gen X women are walking away from their jobs is the one that really I think matters most. For me, the real turning point came after I was told to return to work, less than 6 months after one of my older brothers died suddenly. And something in me just really snapped into focus. I knew I wasn't ready mentally or physically to get back into work full time. And the first response to that demand for me to be back in the office was no. Absolutely not. So then I had to fight to leave. Lots of conversations, lots of meetings in rooms that were really intense, negative spaces where all eyes were on me, and all eyes were on me for the expectation of, you've got to come back to work. You can't leave the department in the lurch, right? And the thing is, I've worked in live environments over the years, live telly. I'm all about the game face. Tragic news is happening. I'm telling the world about the tragic news, but I can't show my shock on my face. And my skills were really another wake up call for me, in that I decided in those meetings to use that game face to get my own outcome, to be unemotional and make sure that my no meant no. And the one thing to remember is if you've got a good game face, don't let that game face be your identity. Just use it as a tool, as I did. Do not live in it. Do not let it become your actual face. I think you've really got to start practicing the small bits of honesty. So sometimes when someone asks you to do something, you just go, not in a position to do that right now. That's it. Because the truth is, we are not the problem. So, which of these four hit closest to home? Is it the cracks you've been ignoring? Is it the loyalty that wasn't returned? Is it the rage you've been trying to keep in a box? Or is it the wake-up call that you know is coming? Please tell me in the comments. I'll read and reply to every single one. And I go and check out why quitting my brutal 9 to 5 was the best thing I ever did. I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching.